Go with the T1 versus DAM1 finals. So let's see how this goes. So honestly, I mean DAM1 are the better team, but T1, like Faker, is very clutch when he needs to be. Like, I feel like Faker, when he needs to do something, like, he can be if he's on one of his champions. Now, this one thing that we've discussed before, if you take Faker off one of his champions, he looks a lot worse, like a lot worse. So we have Sander bans out Aurelia, Aphelios, Renekton, and they're banning Renekton just because so many teams force him in R1, R2, so you have to get rid. Lee Sin, Jay, Ziggs, so they get the Rise. We also have Viego open, so we'll see the Viego come out, and Azir. I mean, Faker's Azir is insane, so that's kind of one of the main kind of things with Faker. Like, Azir is just his kind of champion. Yeah, they're just in, aren't they? I remember when I was actually playing on stage, we had big kind of like cameras as well, and they just like come in from the top, and they'd just be like, and they just, you okay? They just there with these cameras like, hey, bud. It's crazy. But we do see the Viego and the Azir get picked up, so nice. We do get the Ashe, probably Braum. Okay, Camille pickup, that's completely fine as well. This probably shows, well, the good thing about Camille is she doesn't give away anything in draft. She's kind of like a Thresh. She doesn't give anything away in the draft because she can play weak or strong side. It really doesn't matter what she plays. So, that's obviously a good sign. Now we'll probably see something like, maybe the Leona comes out. So that it doesn't get banned away. Or the Gwen, which kind of did actually have a monster performance on Gwen. Like, it was an incredibly good performance in the top lane in the last game, I think it was. Yeah, so it was the game against Gen G. He completely hard carried that game on Gwen. It was crazy to see. Teddy looks like Spirit so much. So bans coming out now. If I'm the side of DK, they've got their entire top side. I'm just looking to get rid of support Leona. Probably Braum isn't too big of an issue, since they do have quite a lot of poke and a long team fight currently for the side of DK. Kallista's going to go. I mean, they could also look to ban out the Ezreal, Varus. There's multiple options that they can actually ban out here. Just to try and avoid them getting an easy R4 slot. So this is one of the things with this second phase of bans. You really want to get rid of that potential to go and certain things in R4. Now, how come they banned Tahm Kench when Thresh is still open? Thresh is a much higher priority ban than Tahm Kench, in my opinion. Especially with something like an Ashe. But they are giving them over Braum. Looks like probably get a ban of Leona. If they don't ban Leona, okay, Gragas, why? I don't get it. I guess Gragas to stop the Camille matchup, but they've already got Gwen. So were they thinking that Gwen was going to go into another lane, or that they were going to run Gragas support? Gragas support wouldn't make that much sense here. I mean, it's not too bad into Ashe because she's a mobile, but you can just go something like Braum and just one-shot it as soon as it jumps in. We'll see the Braum go over to DK now. Again, very contested pick. Braum Ashe is a very, very good bot lane. Very strong bot lane, actually. So we'll see this get locked in, and then they'll be looking for their jungler, which there's a lot of junglers available. Trundle is a known good matchup into Viego, so maybe we see the Trundle come through here, considering it didn't get banned, surprisingly, considering both supports were also open in this last phase. So, oh sorry, both supports needed to take that champ in this last phase, so it's interesting. They get the Ezreal again. I think that's where the bans should have really gone towards, is getting rid of things like that Ezreal Leona, because especially since T1, their draft style is they like drafting towards this top side of the map early, which is the same as DK. Right, so we also need to check out some Hanwha Life games, especially because Chovy is insane. So are we gonna see some Faker playmaker? Let's see, shall we? So let's have a look then. So into the game, we have no real crazy level 1s. Obviously you don't want to see that from either team, especially at the kind of in a finals game like this. But game 1 of finals, let's see how it goes. We have Faker on Izazir, which, you know, Faker's Izazir is something else. It's probably one of his best champions, and it's one of the champions where I feel like the game is never over if Faker has Izazir. He's just very talented on this specific champion. Now in terms of comp, I mean, they did get access to the counter matchup in the jungle in Trundle, and they also got the Rise. Now I think this game is very much going to be dependent on Faker. If he can hard force mid in over and over, then, you know, that's really good for him. As we can see, he's already going to start this push now over and a little bit of focus in his Rise walks up. Now this problem with Rise, he is a quite a short range champion in comparison to a lot of mid lane mages. We do see the runes here scored from Faker. Again, I really don't like it. He's doing it for the extra damage. Absolute focus. It's not too bad considering you can use your sand soldiers to kind of stay out of range. Just gives you a bit more poke after you've reset. In terms of Ezreal standard Leona, we don't see Beryl coming out with the summoners, the Spellbook Braum this time, so that's an indicator that they're going to look to try and play a little bit more towards bot side maybe. Trundle pathing very good here. He's taking his red straight into blue, straight into Gromp. Obviously on champions it can't really AoE clear chickens very easily. You just go red, blue, Gromp, and that will allow you to get a very fast clear off. We see some of this aggression in bot lane already coming out of the Ashe. Now obviously Ashe is a very aggressive bot lane, but the Ezreal has gone with TP, just so that, you know, he can get back whenever he wants. Again, this kind of the unfortunate thing with Absolute Focus instead of Transcendence. Now Faker's in a position where he's not getting anything out of that rune, which, considering it's only 2:30 into the game, it's very unfortunate. He does have Biscuits, which I have been made aware is not needed in this Azir matchup, but we do see the Trundle pillar come in, and we see this 2v2 interaction come in instantly with the Camille hookshot onto the Trundle pillar. But we do see a fight coming down here. Oh, Wanna manages to get the stun onto Canyon, but he's really not going to be able to get him, and his pillar is about to come up. There we go. Diego does get the stun off. Faker is TPing in, so he's using his TP from mid lane. His wave is in an okay position, so this isn't too bad, but he is kind of... Oh no, that flash is terrible, and he missed that. Canyon survives. Oh no, Faker, and now he dies. Stage jitters in the first game. Oh, Faker. Oh, I need to mute this. Sorry, the casters were on, my bad. Unfortunate for Faker though. That was a very sad turn of events, especially now considering he's used his TP too. Viego comes and sorts a wave out in mid, thankfully, but that is just going to unfortunately gift a huge wave over to Rise. He didn't really lose anything due to the way that Faker had left the wave when he TP'd, which the wave would have been great if he would have got back to it, but he didn't. So now we see a massive goal difference in the mid lane already. 24 to 12 CS at this stage of the game is detrimental. This means that Faker isn't going to get ult for a significant amount of time. Now he's kind of lucky in the fact that this is a Rise mid who doesn't have a damaging ultimate ability. If this was something like Orianna and he'd lost this amount, then this would be a very dangerous point, or even say a Syndra. So here we see the Trundle pillar. The Camille can instantly E to it, gets the extension onto Canna. This is why you can't play things like Gwen into Trundle and Diana, Trundle and Camille. Sorry, Camille just gets so much reach. It's unreal. So here we see this fight again. Again, the pillar came in. Canyon gets out, and then Faker TPs to this control ward. Flashes instantly. He's confident in getting the kill, but Canyon goes the opposite way, and Faker actually misses his the first Q. I'm fairly certain, which would have actually done the damage there. Now, I don't think Faker had a ward either, so he couldn't even ward over the wall to. Actually, maybe he did have a ward. I'm not. No, he mustn't have. Otherwise, that was just one auto would have killed Canyon there. So, you know, and that would have actually give Faker first blood, which would allow him to get back into mid lane, sort his wave, and then be pretty strong. So, definitely, he is making up the CS deficit now. Only 2 waves behind at this point into the game, but still 2 waves of XP is significant. It's going to really stunt Faker's ability to get level 6 and do something. So, pretty unfortunate, but Viego did get quite a lot of CS in that mid lane, which is pretty good. That's why sometimes it's very, very risky to kill your laner, because if the jungler comes and just collects all that farm, then the jungle will have quite an advantage. Like right now, Wanna is level 5 to Kanya's level 4, but we see the Rise Realm Warp come in. Faker is not even 6 yet, so nothing he could do. Instant E, there's nothing Gwen can do here. And the Ignite comes down, and she is going to die to Khan. So, very, very aggressive play on this top side, which is very good to see from Dan1, because I think one of the main reasons that they're doing this and playing so heavy and aggressive towards this top side is purely because Kana had such a crazy good game on this Gwen. So they've basically made a comp that can just punish him. Now, Dan1 used to play very much towards this kind of top lane and just kind of shutting them out as much as possible, and just kind of leaving their ADC and support to just fend for themselves a lot, especially considering, we've said this quite a few times, but Beryl has an inting side to him where he will just run it down, which is obviously really bad. Now, Showmaker, Canyon and Khan, you know, always manage to bring him back when he does in, but sometimes it really is a massive factor in the game. Now, Khan's actually getting camped, which Khan is usually one of the slightly weaker members of DK as well, so the fact that he's getting a lot of attention in this top lane is really, really important for the side of them, just because he's playing into a really, really good matchup due to the fact that there's a Trundle. So, you know, Gwen can do quite a lot. Camille can get on top of her though, so I'm not entirely sure about this pick, because if like Gwen relies on playing into kind of like range champions, so the Ashe would be applicable here, but she's also kind of known for this very, very strong early game dueling. Now, Camille isn't the best of that early game dueling, but if she gets through the laning phase, I mean, she's good, don't get me wrong, but when you're playing in something like a Gwen, if you get through the laning phase, that's a huge advantage. Now, a little bit of a trade there, a lot of damage coming out of Khan though, to be honest. He does have that that sheen with him already. So we do see a Herald start already. Leona and Ezreal are moving already. The wave is resetting bot, so Ashe and Braum are also moving. This could be the first kind of big fight of this game, actually. So the Herald is about to drop. We do get a nice shuffle from Faker actually to catch Canyon out, and this is looking actually a little bit doomed. The Ashe is here now as well, just in the back, just completely murdering Teddy. Nice sidestep there. This worked out for T1 in the end. Teddy uses E to jump away, but the Gwen did a considerable amount of damage there, and there was a very, very good shuffle out of Azir as well. Now Azir has gone with Blasting Wand here. Now the only reason he must have done this is because he's going to get gifted blue buff, and also for item slot efficiency, due to the fact that Blasting Wand gives pretty much the same, well, the same amount of AP as double Amp Tome. Now obviously if you can't build double Amp Tome, then it can be a substitute, but it's going to delay your lost chapter. So the fact he's on this now means that he is going to get this blue buff, and he's, you know, going to be able to use that extra AP to just push in and have a lot of aggression. Now, He is up on CS on the rise now, considering his early game, which, you know, just goes to show how powerful Faker's laning phase is, especially against Showmaker. Okay, so it's a very bad early game, but still completely popping off. So we do see 2 kills on the Viego. Will Viego be strong enough to carry? He does have that Herald as well, so we will look for that. Now, I've mentioned this multiple times, but due to the way that the current meta works, or not the current meta, due to the current changes that happen to jungle, you don't really get an opportunity to do dragon early on jungle anymore, unless, you know, you hard focus bot lane. Now the kind of reason behind this is because your smite is only actually at 450 true damage, which is also equal to the enemy junglers until 5 smites. Now there's not going to really be many opportunities in a competitive environment where you will be at a advantage in terms of your smite quest, due to the fact that pro players know how to just stack them. Now, because of this, it puts you in kind of like a weird situation where if you go for a dragon, it's going to take you ages to kill it because you've only got 450 smite, and also there's a very big possibility that it just gets stolen away also. So nice sidestep from Carrier. Oh, nice ultimate. He does just miss Goso, and he does get the cleanse though, so that's something. Usually with Ashe, you don't want to cleanse instantly. You want to wait until Leona is in with her E, and then as soon as she uses her Q, that's when you cleanse, and then you kite her away, and that's kind of one of the ways that you just completely dominate a Leona with that cleanse. Now, maybe they were scared of the jungler being here, but overall, it was a good play. Now, they are going to back away from this. The wave isn't too big for them right now, and you know, they do also know the Faker is missing, so they were wary of it. The Trundle was there ready for the counter gank. Kind of going in. He has no items in comparison though. This is really bad. Like, and yeah, the Camille is literally on a Divine Sundra spike, and she's 2 kills up. The Gwen only had an amp tome that game. That was all she had, was an amplifying tome, so very risky for it to go. Now, the more worrying part is the fact that that fight was so close, considering she only had an amp tome. So, you know, it's very interesting. Right, so right now we do see Wanna just taking the red buff away. So he is going to steal that. Beryl doesn't come, manages to just use the blast gun to get out. Beryl should have just walked up and taken that blast gun, to be honest. Okay, so Khan just running down Canner at this point. He won't be able to get him, unfortunately. Doesn't manage to get the true damage Q2 off on him. Otherwise, that would have been so much damage. But we do see the Rise and the Trundle walking towards top lane right now. And this is one of the things that Showmaker does really well, is he moves about into the side lane all too often to kind of pressure, especially when he's playing things like Rise, because you've got that Realm Orb that you can just get there whenever you want, which is, you know, a massive advantage. We'll also see another thing that Showmaker really likes doing is using his ultimate to just rush Baron when he's playing Rise, which is very good, because what you can do is you can clear out the pit of vision, wait for them to use their blue trinkets, walk back to lane, push a wave out, and then just instantly TP your entire team into the Baron pit, where you can just rush it with the fact that, you know, they have no vision. It's a nice ward from Beryl though. He's going to see if, for example, Wanna wants to kind of walk up through bot lane to do anything. I don't think he is though. I think the ward is nice, but I think it was very autopilot that he put it. Okay, so Khan gets jumped on by Carrier, and ult comes in as well, but nobody is here to help. Ezreal just doesn't put any damage on there, and Carrier blows his entire combo for no reason. Now this is really bad, because there's actually a Herald coming up, and they might potentially look to fight here. So Leona having that combo would have been so much better here. Okay, so that was just complete murder by Khan. I don't know why my nose is itchy. So complete murder by Khan. Oh, and Carrier is just out of position. Uses his stopwatch as well to buy time, but why? It's such a waste. So T1 get the Herald. We're going to see a fight come down. Canyon walks up to try and get a pillar onto Carrier or Teddy, knowing they have no flash. Khan jumps in and instantly gets a kill on Carrier. Now there's a fight in the backline too. Kana dies. A nice shuffle from Azir, but it's just too late. Wanna is kind of popping off, but overall he's just going to die as well. And now Faker is potentially going to die if he doesn't manage to get away. He does use his flash, so, and Teddy eats a wall. That was a very, very rough fight. They did manage to get the Herald on the side of Gwen, but losing that much gold for a nearly 16-minute Herald is just really not worth. So Trundle Pillar to stop Teddy from actually walking in between that tower. Really, really good. Now this is one thing with Canyon. He really, really knows his Trundle very well. You can tell that he's invested so much time into this pick. So now we see a replay of it. We see Khan instantly jumps in and just insta-kills Carrier. Kana tries to do something, but he doesn't manage to put his W down properly so that he still gets damage. Wanna does flash to kill the Ashe, but overall, that might have been ult. But either way, they just get run down now. And this team fight win for the side of DK, even though T1 did get the Herald, so... Okay, so we do see the Herald come in top here. This is going to pop this tower out. Khan is looking to try and be aggressive and then just uses E to get away, just to see if he can try and kind of defer the Herald at all. Fortunately, he doesn't manage to. So they're going to get a second push off with this Herald as well. Zia tries to use his ult just to pin Khan into the wall, but unfortunately doesn't manage to. Now they do get the second turret off it though, which is a nice 600 gold, but we can see that Ryze is just pushing the exact same tower in bot lane. Now the Azir passive is going to come up there, just is going to allow them to keep pressure in that lane for just a little bit longer. Ryze does back away from that and they get the first dragon of the game. Now the thing is with this first dragon is it is at 17 minutes, so this is more so a dragon that they're just taking because there's nothing else to do on the map right now, just because 17 minutes for the first dragon means we're looking at least 35 minutes until we're gonna 35 to 40 before we even start seeing kind of like an Elder Dance. So it's obviously something to take into consideration, and that's taken into the fact that they clear the dragons instantly too, which I don't think they're actually going to do. So Teddy just using his ult just to trim the next wave that's coming through, just so that he can hard force it in a little bit harder, just so that he keeps his prio that they're using to invade the Trundle for his red buff. Now this is good because Wanna doesn't have any top camps available, so Trundle is kind of just wasting his time by searching in the jungle. Now Camille and Trundle do have a huge lead right here, but it only takes one good shuffle and the entire team fight can be changed around. So we are waiting out to see what's going to happen. We haven't seen any big team fights yet, but Faker is building towards his Zhonya's right now. He does have his Ludens, so he's getting that that magic penetration come in from there, which is nice for him. So we can just see the kind of two solo laners just kind of trying to get this top tower down as quick as they possibly can. Ryze doesn't manage to finish it off. Unfortunately, that would have been a nice 600 odd gold for them. They'll take away this camp away from them though, just so they deny at least something to Wanna. And now we can see Ash is trying to hard force this mid lane in so that they can crack this tier 1 mid lane because nobody is around to defend it. So it will take one a little while to get there. I don't think she's got time. They are going to TP, so that is a TP from Faker coming in. Just so that, oh no, it's from Teddy actually. Just so that you can secure this wave, especially considering, you know, it's a cannon wave. So Faker is going to just stay in the side lane. Is he going to freeze this wave though? We shall find out. I think he's... Is he freezing it? No, I don't think so. I think he's just half pushing it. Which is obviously a little unfortunate to see. I guess because he wants to just get into team fights considering he's got his ultimate, but he has his TP available. So I really don't think Faker should have hard pushed this wave in here. So there was absolutely no reason at all. It's not like they're going to contest Baron anytime soon because they'll just lose to DK. So we should have just froze that side wave and just basically played off the fact that it was frozen. So a little bit unfortunate to see. We do see kind of just in the bot lane. Kind is keeping him at bay though. Kind of really behind in this game. It's gonna be quite rough to kind of carry him through. I wonder if, I mean, Faker seems like he's untilted though from that very, very early mistake, so that's a very, very good sign. So we do see the Trundle E into the Braum queue. Nice timing on them to actually land that together. We see Rise just kind of go nuts on carry, a nice little bit of poke, so they're very controlled though. They go for a big amount of poke and then they walk away. They don't overextend for it. Oh my god, that Faker ult. Holy shit. That was insane. So they actually win the team fight. From here, Showmaker gets out with no HP left and Teddy doesn't have ultimate available, but Faker, like, you just can't give him a Z. Like, you just can't give him a Z. Azir is definitely not something you can hand over to this guy. Really showing why he used to be, you know, considered like the world's best, and is still very, very talented, evidently. At Worlds again, so we know that he gets to Worlds because obviously this finals, but we do get the Ashe ult onto Teddy. Unfortunately, they just don't have enough damage. Faker comes in, just shuffles from behind and pushes him into the tower, gives Teddy plenty of space, but that ultimate miss from Teddy is so sad. That would have been a kill onto Showmaker, which actually would have been so important. So that wasn't even the fact that Showmaker kind of played that well. There would have been no way that he would have missed it if he got that timing right. So very, very sad to see, but a 3-man shuffle was amazing. So in terms of mechanical difficulty, that was really not hard. What is Keria doing though? He's kind of just walking up, trying to get vision in the pit, but it's just not enough. That Trundle E-slow is way too heavy. And you just can't really do anything. Now DK are actually sat in that brush. Maybe we will see another fight here. There's no vision. Canna jumps in. This is a very bad place for DK to be with the Canna, the Gwen ult. But Faker only manages to get Ghost with the shuffle, which Ghost is a priority target, but this Rise is just going to go crazy in the backline. Warner does die here. Teddy is trying to do as much damage as he can, but it just isn't enough. He eased forward to try and get Showmaker, but Showmaker with an amazing Zhonya's there to dodge the Ezreal E, so he would have 100% died there. Like, that was so close. So Showmaker multiple occasions now with his Zhonya's really, really saved him. So this is why he's buying a second item. With Everfrost alone and Rise's kit and the way it works, you already have plenty of damage, and you're just looking for utility and survivability, really. So again, Ghost does get caught there, but Warner does change into the Ashe, which makes him very, very squishy. Now, Canna is doing a lot, but this E in from the Ezreal was absolutely terrible. Really, really sad to see. Coma's loving it though. So we do see this massive powerhouse in terms of the Ryze, Trundle and Camille playing around here. This 3v3 in top lane is really the kind of dominating thing about DK, and this is why I'm very surprised that teams aren't banning this Ryze away from Showmaker. Like, you just can't give this guy his Ryze. Like, he will have too much pressure on the rest of the map. It just doesn't work out, so... Ghost just randomly drinking water as he's running it down bot lane. Canyon just blocking off this area, but we do see Faker moving down now, so Faker is on his way. We do get a ping from Khan that Faker is moving though, or somebody, so we do know where he is. Now, they do have that ward kind of denied, but there is another one on the grunt that they haven't realized yet, so nice ward placement here. They are just trying to get control of this jungle however they can. And just kind of being careful. Now, this is one thing you see in these pro games that you won't really see in solo queue. The amount of kind of time that they spend to slowly walk up to these brushes and spot them out is really, really important. Just because if they death brush them, then that can be very bad, since, you know, T1 get the opportunity to do damage for way more time than DK, and also get the CC off. So we can see DK just slowly pushing down bot lane right now. They do still have Baron on Khan and Trundle, so this is kind of what they're working towards. Now, this one thing with DK is, and most LCK teams to be honest, when they get Baron buff, they know how to use it, and this is probably one of the reasons why this kind of really heavy kind of skirmishy playstyle comes out, because they know that if they can get an early advantage pre-20, then they're going to be able to get that Baron and use it to just push and end the game. So this is why they resort in this kind of skirmy heavy playstyle. But I do think a lot of teams, especially teams in, for example, EU, they have the ability to play picks that LCK wouldn't play, so puts LCK in a very weird position, in the fact that if those champions do well in those positions, then it's because they don't really know how to play against it as well as they should, because, you know, they've been they haven't really had anywhere near as much practice against it, especially if it isn't a pick that really gets played in solo queue either. Then it's a really, really big thing. I would like to see SKT go more towards things like the Aphelios again, but Teddy's Ezreal is amazing. Right now, he's putting in an absolute shift. He's on his 2 item spikes. Faker's on his 3, which is very, very, which makes it look very good. But we see that Ezreal is currently on 2 items and building into his Frozen Heart. It's going to be extremely effective against Ashe, Trundle, and Camille. Ryze, not so much. And Ryze did just hit level 16 as well, which means that ultimate is in kind of full swing now. So we will kind of see where he goes to with that. So we can see that they're trying to get control of this Baron right now, of this Dragon right now, just so that they can look to go for it. It is only a Cloud Dragon, so I think for both teams in these situations, I'd much prefer to try and get a fight and an advantage out of these objectives rather than you know, going for anything too crazy. So the Camille might just continue pushing here, and then they get the Dragon for free. T1 is going to give the Dragon up, and they're potentially going to... Oh, they were rotating for the Camille here. But it's only a Cloud Dragon, which, you know, Cloud Dragons don't really mean that much. Like, they're not insane, and there's a few champions that use them well, don't get me wrong, but overall, Cloud Soul is probably the worst soul out of all of them, purely because the movement speed is nice on certain champions, especially Gwen. I mean, Gwen, Viego, they can use it, Azir can use it too. Like, everybody can kind of use Cloud Dragon, but you'd always prefer to go with something else. You prefer to go with any other soul, to be honest. So right here, DK do have quite a sizable lead. They're looking at about 5,000 gold lead right now, so that's a pretty sizable lead. Now, unfortunately, they're not really going to get a soul as a win condition, but they are in a position to start threatening Baron as much as possible, especially considering they have Ryze, who is soul fed, and obviously, like I've said before, Baron has less magic resistant armor, which means, you can do a lot more to it if you're playing a major champion. Now, Kanna's just going to get dove by the Camille, picks up that nice 600 gold from the tower, and is going to continue chasing, but he just wants to look to push this in. Cam right now level 17 to Kanna's 14, so 3 levels advantage. Kanna will get it off this wave, so he should have looked to just jump on him there, to be honest, but he wants to get him kind of low first. Kanna is on Riftmaker Spike, but he did just waste his ultimate. Now, this allows DK to kind of just back away from Baron if they want to, because they don't need the Baron to have this siege going on in bot lane, and Kanna can't really defend against it. The Azir is walking close. He's just out of range of the vision though. Unfortunately, Khan does get out and they don't really get much for it. And there we go. We see it. The Rise ult coming in to rush the Baron because there's no vision of it right now. Beryl does back away though. Wanna is there and it's a 50-50. So there's no reason to kind of force that. And Azir did start rotating away from that bot lane too. We see the Camille put a ward down there just to kind of see when Azir came back. But they could have potentially now rushed it, but they're just going to keep this vision control. They have a massive gold lead already. As long as they're farming their lanes, which is, you know, the Rise and the Camille's responsibility, then they're actually in a very, very good position. Khan going to look to take away all of the jungle here, so this is very, very good play in the fact that once he's got a lead, he's looking to punish the enemy jungler more than anyone. So this is a really, really good way of playing the game, because if you can't get jungle camps, then you're just going to slowly leak more and more gold, since the gold in the waves is always going to be equal unless a inhibitor is destroyed. So now T1 are actually managing to get some pushback. Obviously, DK didn't manage to get the... Oh my god, the Azir ultimate. This was insane. Like, what? Like, that was such a nuts ultimate, and they're actually just going to win the fight super hard off it. God damn, the Viego actually manages to get out, but the Rise ult does come through just before the Leona ultimate will come down. But they can potentially just look to rush Baron here. I mean, the enemy do still have a smite available, but they are going to shred this because of this Azir, and they are 5 men strong. Now, Wanna is a little bit low, but it doesn't really matter. DK really just have to give this. Showmaker TP's in for no real reason. I think that's very, very bad that he used his TP here. But this does actually give the Baron over to SKT, so maybe SKT can still win this game. I mean, if Faker manages to get more ultimates like that, then they're in for a very, very good chance. Now, a lot of the kills have gone over to Wanna, but still, this ultimate was insane. So there we go. We see him shuffle back. Ashe flashes, but it really isn't enough. He actually manages to position his ult in a way that even if they flash, it still hits. Now, this is something that we see quite often, actually, in the fact that Azir ult will catch people even when they have that available. So Showmaker took so much damage from Wanna. He flashed forward, but Showmaker flashes away. Wanna does manage to heal quite a lot, but it takes so long for the side of T1 to come and help Wanna here. I feel like this was somewhat communicational issues, to be honest. So the fact that they took that long was really not too great. Now, we are seeing them kind of go for this dragon. Now, like I said previously, they're probably just going for this dragon so that they can start a fight rather than to finish it off. So Kanna jumps in way too early, uses his W instantly for no good reason. We did get a 3-man ultimate from Leona, but Kanna just gets instantly blown up. They managed to kill the Braum, but it's just not enough. Camille actually doesn't get pushed back by the ultimate, so now they just kind of go crazy. Faker's dead, so Khan uses stopwatch here since it was a little bit of a little too aggressive on that engage, but that was really not as favourable for T1 as their last team fight was, and a lot of it came down to the fact that Faker held his ultimate for a very long time looking for a perfect ult. It just didn't really come through. He ended up ulting the Camille, which I'm fairly certain if we saw the replay, I think Camille actually E'd over the Azir wall, which I know you can do. So we'll see what happens here. But I mean, that was a very sad situation. Now, this Rise is huge, and this is going to be a massive problem in this game now. Because, I mean, it's so difficult to do anything. So here we see, kind of jumps in, but he instantly has a stopwatch. He only gets a nice ultimate, but again, Faker's just holding on to this ultimate, looking for a good opportunity to go for it. Doesn't really manage to get one, and Camille actually dodges the ultimate. I think she E'd the actual wall there, because she doesn't have Edge of Night. So I think she just E'd the wall, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure why it didn't push her back. I think that's what happened, because yeah, she doesn't have Edge of Night, so I'm not entirely sure actually. But DK are now in a very, very dominant position. Then again, roughly about 5,000 gold in advantage with 7 towers. So what they're going to be looking for now is start sieging into this base. Now, this is one of the most important things that we see in these kind of top LCK teams, is we actually have this inhib exposed in bot lane by DK, but there's no way they're ever going to take that unless they are in a winning position. Since as soon as you take that, the game is kind of, you commit to ending. Now we have a 5,000 gold lead in top and nearly 2,000 in mid lane, so very, very dominant game from mid and top here, and solo lane difference is massive here. Now this is one of the advantages to taking things like Braum and Ashe bot lane too, in the fact that they will always be useful no matter what, purely because of the way their kits work. So we have Ashe with a passive slowing people up, and with a W to slow them down too. We have the ultimate engage, we have the Eva vision. She's just a very, very broken champion, and now she does have her Shieldbow and Wit's End combo and her Ginzus for that on-hit modifier. So now, even if Faker does get on top of her, his penetration that he's got from his items is not going to mean as much, because we do have that Wit's End coming in. Top gap is pretty big. I mean, a lot of this top gap did come down to Canyon, though. Since, you know, this is a very, very brutal kind of 2v2 comp, where you have the Trundle pillar can go down and then Camille E can instantly jump to it. It means that Camille always gets her E off in the laning phase, which that thing has massive range, which is why we actually used to see Camille jungle, because it was kind of similar to J4 in the fact it had so much range to get in range, jump on them, and then ult. That, you know, it was just so good. It was such a good kind of design, but she was too strong, so they got rid of the only kind of mechanic that allowed her to farm the camps, was the fact that she could use her E on the camps and stun them, but then they got rid of that and she just couldn't clear. She already had a little bit of a risky clear anyway, dropping low, and it just made it so it was really not possible, to be honest. But we do see Rise is on his 4th item now, so he's going to be doing so much. He does also have that stopwatch in his inventory, so we are going to potentially see the double stopwatch come out. Now, the reason he's done this is because if you don't use your stopwatch and you turn it into a Zhonya's, then you still have the ability to buy another stopwatch. So that 600 gold is going to basically be a deciding factor in some team fights, because he's going to get 5 seconds of invulnerability. 5 seconds of not being able to get touched. So that's gonna really come into play in this game, especially if he has his flash available as well. It's gonna be extremely difficult to kill Showmaker in this game. So we see a TP coming in here. T1 is trying to rush Baron again, since they know they did it so quick last time. Unfortunately, their resistances are going to be reduced. Azir does manage to get it, and now they're just completely stuck in a pit, which against a Rise is the last thing you want. He's just going to go to absolute town now. We see Rise flashes in just to do more damage, and we can see here, like, there's no way he ever dies. So this is a terrible decision from the side of SKT. Azir, like, Faker does actually do so much damage in that fight, but it's just really not enough. Like, very unfortunate to see kind of that happening, and now they're just going to run down Teddy as well and just can't really do anything. That slow that you get, the Trundle pillar is so huge, it's unreal. Now Warner is going for the dragon right now, and he's at least getting something out of it, but it's really not going to be enough, because now they're going to potentially look to just end the game out through top lane. I mean, they also have a bot inhibitor available, but I don't think they really need it. Faker's dead for 30 seconds. Teddy's dead for 37. Like, this could be the end of the game. Even with the Baron buff, I don't think it's enough. So Leona ult comes down. Warner goes to jump onto Showmaker, but we see one stopwatch come through. And wait, no, we saw the double stopwatch come through, sorry. So, but it doesn't really matter. That double stopwatch actually allowed him to survive long enough that they could just end the game. So, this was crazy, crazy strong game. You'd love to see it.